In a luxurious hotel room filled with extravagant furnishings and the lingering scent of perfume, something horrifying had just occurred. A famous actress seeking wealthy investors found herself in a terrifying trap. Before she could even react, a dead body appeared right in front of her. Panic surged as she realized she'd been framed for murder. Yet the truth behind this sinister plot was far darker than she imagined. The victim wasn't an ordinary man. He was a Saudi prince whose death triggered a ruthless conspiracy aimed at destroying an entire city. This city, called Paradise City, was anything but paradise, sealed behind massive walls, abandoned by the government and drowning in violence. Soon, the kidnapping of a key government minister threw Paradise City into even deeper chaos, sparking a desperate rescue mission that would reveal shocking betrayals, dark secrets, and an unforgettable fight for survival. Li Mingxing originally intended to find a wealthy investor at a luxurious banquet. He wanted to secure funding for his upcoming project. However, he was informed that he would need to offer his body in exchange for the investment. But he never imagined that inside the hotel room, there would only be a dead body. He immediately realized someone was framing him. Yet the truth behind the incident went far deeper. The deceased man was a Saudi prince. Someone intended to use this incident to completely destroy the city where the woman resided. The city had a beautiful name, Paradise City, but in reality, it was filled with violence and crime, a true hell on earth. The residents here were all abandoned people. The government had designated the city as a restricted area. They erected high walls and completely severed Paradise City's contact with the outside world. They left the residents to fend for themselves. However, there was a cabinet minister named Juliet who couldn't bear witnessing such human suffering. He wanted to help these people return to normal life. Juliet came to Paradise City and delivered a speech. He told everyone that he planned to propose the liberation of Paradise City at the upcoming cabinet meeting. Juliet's actions undoubtedly won the goodwill of the crowd, but some people did not want to see this outcome. Therefore, outside the speech venue, numerous fully armed assassins had already been waiting. As cheers from the crowd erupted, these assassins finally took action. Under the cover of cheers, they easily killed a security guard responsible for external communication. Thus, the situation inside could no longer be conveyed to the outside world. At the same time, the assassins launched an attack on the surrounding security personnel. They seemed to already know the exact positions of the snipers. They effortlessly took out the guards at these sniper points. By the time Juliet realized something was wrong, it was already too late. The assassins rushed into the crowd. In full view of everyone, Juliet was captured and taken away. The remaining security personnel quickly responded. Anya, the accompanying head of special security, immediately chased after the kidnappers. She wanted to rescue the cabinet minister, but she was alone facing many assassins. Outnumbered, Anya was soon overpowered and knocked to the ground. Luckily, her teammates arrived just in time, allowing her to narrowly escape death. However, the cabinet minister had still been taken away. Soon, the incident became known at the highest levels. The Ministry of Defense directly ordered the Special Security Agency to fully mobilize and rescue Juliet. However, until now, they didn't even know the kidnappers' identities, making it impossible to start the rescue mission. Some radical officials even proposed sending troops to completely destroy Paradise City and eliminate all these people once and for all. Naturally, this extreme proposal was rejected by the higher authorities, as they couldn't simply sacrifice the lives of over 300,000 people. Ultimately, they decided to send an undercover agent into Paradise City to find the kidnapped Juliet. As for the candidate, there was currently a suitable choice. His name was Emil, a former fighting champion who now lived alone in Paradise City. Not long ago, Emil was diagnosed with a serious illness. To get money, Emil and his companion robbed places everywhere. When they were robbing a local casino, they happened to run into a special security team that was on another mission. Seeing this unexpected opportunity for achievement, the special security squad acted immediately. However, Emil and his companion reacted very quickly. As soon as they saw the security agents rushing in, they dropped the money they had stolen and immediately fled outside. But Emil's illness prevented him from escaping the pursuing agents, and he was soon caught. Meanwhile, his companion managed to escape. The head of the Special Security Agency believed Emil could be turned into an undercover agent for their investigation. Emil was brought to the chief, and after hearing the explanation, he agreed to cooperate. Emil even provided some clues. According to him, there was an armed group in Paradise City called the Movement, and it was very likely they had kidnapped Minister Juliet. Emil's mission was to locate David, the leader of the movement, and get Juliet's location from him. If Emil could successfully rescue the minister, not only would his robbery charges be cleared, he would also receive a generous reward. Emil found this offer very tempting. Thus, Emil and Anya formed a temporary team to return to Paradise City and investigate Juliet's whereabouts. But before returning, Emil visited his separated wife and daughter, assuring them that he would soon solve their financial issues. Emil's serious illness had nearly drained all his savings, and he couldn't even afford the property tax for the next month. Without payment, their house would be auctioned off, leaving his family homeless. After bidding farewell to his family, Emil and Anya entered Paradise City through a hidden entrance. However, this passageway was extremely dark and complicated. For some reason, Emil seemed to deliberately shake Anya off. Soon he completely disappeared from Anya's sight, leaving her wandering alone. After struggling for a long time, Anya finally found her way out. However, upon seeing Paradise City's interior, she was utterly shocked by the chaos. Everywhere she looked was filled with disorder and fighting a real hell on earth. Just as Anya and Emil started their mission, the special security agency outside had new developments. A video suddenly appeared online showing Juliet tied up beneath the movement's flag. The kidnappers made 3 demands to the Norwegian government. First, completely liberate Paradise City and tear down all the walls surrounding it. Second, release all imprisoned members of the movement. Third, they demanded a full restructuring of the cabinet with all current officials stepping down. If the first 2 conditions were somewhat negotiable, the third demand was simply absurd. The kidnappers gave a 3-day deadline, but the government didn't take it seriously. At this moment, Anya, though she had lost Emil earlier, knew enough about him to find his residence directly. She guessed correctly that he was hiding there. Emil was stunned for a moment seeing Anya again, but quickly recovered. He told Anya honestly that he couldn't help her find Juliet because he had lied earlier about knowing the location of the movement to save his own life. He actually had no clue. This was beyond Anya's expectations, but as time was running out, she had no other options. She decided to continue the investigation with Emil. The conditions remained unchanged. As long as Emil cooperated, he would be pardoned and rewarded generously. Considering his wife and daughter's difficult situation, Emil reluctantly agreed once again. Finally, he revealed to Anya that although he didn't know the movement's hideout, there was one person who did. That person was his good brother Jack, who had robbed the casino with him. Emil soon located Jack's hiding place. Without wasting time, Emil asked Jack directly about the movement's whereabouts. Jack was puzzled by his friend's sudden inquiry, but after seeing Anya nearby, he immediately understood. Jack recognized her as police, yet he chose to trust Emil. Jack admitted honestly that he also didn't know the movement's exact location. All his information came from his cousin, who was a member of the movement. Jack agreed to take them to meet his cousin. The 3 set out immediately. When they met Jack's cousin Amber, they immediately explained their purpose. Upon learning they were looking for the movement's base and wished to contact its leader, David, Amber hesitated briefly, but eventually agreed to help. She first called other members of the movement and then invited the 3 of them to rest for a while. Everything seemed perfectly normal at first. However, Anya, who was standing guard downstairs, soon realized something was wrong. Several cars were swiftly approaching their location, and the people inside were heavily armed, clearly not friendly. Realizing the danger, Anya immediately warned Emil and the others to escape. But before they could even leave the apartment building, they ran into the movement members charging upstairs from the corner. A fierce battle instantly broke out between the 2 sides. Even worse, Amber unexpectedly turned hostile, attacking Anya's group without hesitation. Jack was wounded in the chaos. Eventually, the 3 barely managed to escape the apartment building. Jack's condition was now critical. If the bullet wasn't removed immediately, he would surely die. Emil and Anya quickly took Jack to a local doctor's home. The doctor didn't ask many questions, since gunfights were common in Paradise City. He turned a table into an operating bed and removed the bullet from Jack's body without anesthesia, forcing Jack to endure the pain. After a long and painful surgery, Jack finally escaped death. According to the doctor's assessment, Jack needed a few days to recover. Thus, during this period, Emil and Anya had to continue the investigation alone. But just as they stepped outside the doctor's home, they were surrounded by members of the movement. Their leader David was among them. Emil and Anya were then captured and taken to the movement's base, ironically achieving their initial goal. David asked asked the two directly why they were looking for him. Seeing David's confused expression, Emile sensed something was wrong. Emile explained clearly that they were searching for Juliet, who had been kidnapped by David's group. Hearing this, David's confusion only deepened. He firmly told Emile that he had never organized any kidnapping, nor had he even heard of Juliet's name. This revelation was entirely unexpected for Emile and Anya. It quickly became obvious that David's group had been framed. Emile felt confused, unable to imagine who else in Paradise City could have carried out such a daring act as kidnapping a cabinet minister. At this moment, David mentioned someone else. In the southern part of Paradise City, there was another powerful armed group only slightly weaker than the movement. Their leader was named Roy. David speculated that Roy's group might have carried out the kidnapping and framed the movement. David promised to assist Emile and Anya in their investigation by contacting a spy embedded in Roy's group. David then released Emile and Anya, telling them where to find the undercover agent known as Curly. Shortly after Emile and Anya arrived at a local nightclub, Curly was surrounded by Roy's subordinates, who, unaware of Emile's identity, attacked immediately upon seeing the intruders. As a former fighting champion, Emile wasn't afraid of combat. However, due to his worsening physical condition, he quickly became exhausted and was surrounded by opponents. Fortunately, Anya noticed Emile's predicament and intervened, allowing Emile to escape. After tremendous effort, they finally met Curly. Curly already knew their purpose, but confessed he could do nothing to help. Although he had been undercover in Roy's group for a long time, he was never allowed into the inner circle. Currently, he was only a minor leader, knowing nothing about the kidnapping. However, Curly offered another piece of information. At a recent gathering, he had noticed a mysterious man with a birthmark near his eyebrow. Although Curly didn't know this person's identity, Roy had shown extreme respect toward him, suggesting he had significant status. Upon hearing this, Anya immediately reported it to her superior, asking him to help investigate this mysterious individual. But when Anya's superior heard the description, he froze, completely stunned. He immediately recognized the person. Among Sweden's top government officials, there was only one person who matched this description. It was cabinet member Philip. Meanwhile, Philip, still unaware his identity had been exposed, was attending a luxurious banquet, carefully planning his next move. Unfortunately, Emile's wife, who was also attending, became Philip's target. Philip was fully aware of her dire financial situation and knew she was attending the banquet to secure investment from wealthy patrons. Philip deliberately approached her, offering introductions to potential investors. Emile's wife clearly knew Philip's intentions, yet her financial difficulties left her no choice but to accept Philip's invitation. After the banquet, Emile's wife went to the hotel room address provided by Philip. After gathering her courage, she pushed open the door only to freeze completely upon seeing the dead body lying in a pool of blood. She recognized the deceased as a Middle Eastern prince she had briefly met at the banquet. Immediately, she realized someone had set her up, though she couldn't comprehend their motive. In a moment of quick thinking, she took the prince's expensive watch and quickly fled the scene, pretending nothing had happened. Emile's wife then took the watch to a local store, hoping to sell it and resolve her urgent financial situation. After examining the watch, the storekeeper offered a price of 40,000 euros, but required proof of purchase. Unable to provide this, she had to leave in disappointment. However, as she was leaving the store, clerk stopped her, handing her a business card, suggesting she contact the person listed for help if she had no proof. Believing the clerk was acting in kindness, she had no idea this was another trap. Soon after, she met the person from the business card, who agreed to buy the watch for 20,000 euros. But just as the transaction was completed, police suddenly appeared and arrested her. She was accused of murdering the prince, with the watch serving as clear evidence. Her daughter tried to stop the arrest, but was also detained for obstructing police duties. Meanwhile, Juliet, imprisoned in Paradise City, was enduring unimaginable torture. Suddenly, several kidnappers appeared in front of him, forcing him onto a chair. Without explanation, they severed one of Juliet's fingers, intensifying the already volatile situation. Such an action seemed foolish to ordinary kidnappers, but was exactly what Philip, the mastermind behind everything, wanted. Back to Emile's side, after Anya informed her superior about the man with the birthmark near his eyebrow, her superior began behaving very strangely. He immediately ordered Anya to withdraw from Paradise City and stop investigating the matter, suggesting that the cabinet minister Juliet had been abandoned. Although Emile didn't openly object and even encouraged Anya to leave, would they truly give up? Obviously not. While Emile personally guided Anya through a secret passage out of Paradise City, they secretly continued investigating Juliet's whereabouts. Anya's departure was merely to better coordinate from the outside. She planned to secure valuable contraband rare inside Paradise City to help Emil infiltrate Roy's group. With these items, Emil approached Roy, offering contraband worth hundreds of thousands as a membership fee. Roy was initially delighted by Emil's gift, but quickly turned suspicious, aggressively questioning how Emil obtained such valuable goods. With Emil's limited resources, acquiring such a large quantity seemed impossible. Emil, however, had prepared for this question in advance. He lied, claiming the contraband belonged to the movement from whom he'd stolen it. Now the movement was chasing him. Roy, appreciating Emil's daring, accepted him into the group, allowing Emil to investigate Juliet's location secretly. Meanwhile, Anya, conducting investigations outside Paradise City, discovered her ex-boyfriend might be involved in the kidnapping case and could possibly identify the mastermind behind everything. She arranged a meeting under the guise of catching up after many years apart. During the conversation, Anya subtly questioned her ex-boyfriend about Juliet's kidnapping, but obtained no useful clues. Suddenly, Emil urgently called Anya, revealing evidence that Roy had kidnapped Juliet. Earlier, Emil cautiously searched rooms within Roy's base, discovering one matching the location in the viral kidnapping video exactly. Emil was certain Roy's group had kidnapped Juliet, framing the movement. However, Juliet was nowhere to be found, so Emil continued searching. He soon confirmed Roy was busy testing the purity of the contraband, giving Emil enough courage to continue exploring other rooms in the base. After searching, he found a locked door, and upon entering discovered Juliet, who had lost a finger. Juliet immediately grew wary, unsure of Emil's intentions, expecting further torture. Upon realizing Emil had come to rescue him, Juliet became overjoyed and eagerly prepared to escape. However, Roy suddenly appeared behind Emil, capturing him red-handed. Emil was completely restrained, while Juliet, blindfolded again, was taken elsewhere. During this time, Emil was repeatedly tortured by Roy's men. Outside Paradise City, Anya's situation also worsened. Her ex-boyfriend had realized her true purpose after overhearing her call with Emil and secretly drugged her. When Anya regained consciousness, cabinet member Philip and his bodyguard had already appeared while her ex-boyfriend stood silently behind them, clearly indicating his allegiance. Anya understood her ex-boyfriend was involved in Juliet's kidnapping and feared she'd soon be killed to bury the secret. Unexpectedly, Philip didn't immediately execute Anya, instead proposing cooperation. According to Philip, Roy had betrayed their agreement and kidnapped Juliet without authorization. Philip claimed he also didn't know Juliet's current whereabouts and wanted Anya's help to rescue him. Anya saw through Philip's deception, immediately suspecting he merely intended to silence Roy permanently. Thus, she refused Philip's offer outright. Seeing Anya's determination, Philip simply walked away, instructing his bodyguard to kill her. Despite being severely overpowered, Anya's years of experience allowed her to resist fiercely. Her ex-boyfriend, suddenly shocked by the violence, stepped forward, attempting to stop the bodyguard, hoping to spare Anya's life. The ruthless bodyguard naturally saw this as self-destructive. Seizing this brief distraction, Anya swiftly attacked the bodyguard, turning the fight in her favor. Though initially successful, she was surprised when the bodyguard feigned defeat, suddenly attacking her again. However, under the director's arrangement, Anya eventually regained the upper hand, systematically breaking the bodyguard's joints, ending the prolonged battle decisively. After escaping, Anya immediately found her superior requesting the arrest of Philip, but her request was refused due to Philip's high-ranking status. Without Juliet's testimony or sufficient evidence, Philip was untouchable. Moreover, Anya's superior informed her that Emil had vanished 10 hours ago. Without Emil as a crucial witness, confronting Philip was impossible. Anya attempted to call Emil desperately, but he didn't answer. Nevertheless, she refused to give up, determined to rescue Emil. Suddenly, Emil called her himself amidst chaotic noise, stating urgently he was en route to rescue Juliet, asking Anya for immediate backup. Before Anya could respond, a violent crash followed by gunfire echoed through the phone, leaving silence afterward. Anya instantly understood Emil was in grave danger. Anya rushed back to the special security agency, storming into an ongoing meeting room. In front of the defense minister, she announced that she knew Juliet's location and urgently requested a special operations team for immediate rescue. Anya's immediate superior angrily scolded her for breaking protocol and accused her of fabricating evidence, misleading everyone present, attempting to expel her from the meeting. However, the defense minister found Anya's words convincing, believing she was telling the truth, and decided to trust her judgment. He approved her request, dispatching a special operations unit to assist Anya. Elsewhere, Emil had been knocked unconscious from the car crash. Curly's body lay motionless nearby. Half an hour earlier, Roy had grown tired of torturing Emil and brought him to an arena, forcing him into a deadly duel against an opponent Emil recognized as someone he'd defeated 3 years ago. However, now severely weakened by illness and torture, Emil couldn't match his former opponent and was brutally beaten. Unexpectedly, Curly the undercover agent suddenly emerged from the crowd, firing 2 guns, creating chaos. Emil seized this moment, escaping his opponent's grasp, grabbing a gun from someone nearby and taking Roy hostage. With Roy as leverage, no one dared to stop Emil, and he finally escaped alongside Curly and Roy. The trio hijacked a car, forcing Roy to guide them to Juliet's location. Unfortunately, Roy had secretly fastened his seatbelt and deliberately crashed the vehicle into the roadside, knocking Emil unconscious. Curly managed to escape the wrecked car, but Roy was waiting and shot Curly dead, ending his years undercover. Roy immediately headed toward the warehouse where Juliet was held, intending to kill the hostage before Anya's team arrived. Meanwhile, Juliet had never given up hope, successfully escaping his restraints after prolonged effort. However, just as he attempted to flee, Juliet collided directly with Roy's arriving men and was immediately recaptured. Just then, Anya's Special Operations Unit arrived at the warehouse via helicopter. Initially unable to locate Juliet, they captured 2 of Roy's subordinates, and through interrogation, quickly learned Juliet's exact whereabouts. Coincidentally, as Anya's team exited the room, they encountered Roy attempting to relocate Juliet, leading to an immediate armed standoff. Neither side dared make the first move, but suddenly one of Roy's men, previously thought dead, attacked from behind, igniting a fierce battle. Within moments, most combatants were killed, leaving only Anya desperately shielding Juliet, and Roy, driven by rage, determined to kill them both. Just as Roy prepared to fire, he was unexpectedly shot from behind, collapsing unwillingly to the ground. Emil, despite his earlier injuries, had arrived just in time, saving them both. Without hesitation, the 3 quickly moved toward the warehouse exit, seeking reinforcements waiting outside. Yet Roy's men ambushed them once more. Anya bravely held them off, allowing Juliet and Emil to board a rescue helicopter. Believing the worst was over, Anya was shocked as hidden enemies suddenly attacked from a rooftop, severely injuring the remaining Special Ops members. The assailants closed in rapidly on Anya and Juliet. Yet again, severely injured Emil appeared at a crucial moment, killing the attacker. Just then, the fallen assailant's phone rang. Answering it, Anya heard a voice that shocked her deeply. It belonged to her own superior, the Special Security Agency director, who had ordered the attack on Juliet. The director, realizing he'd been exposed, quickly arranged another assassination attempt against Anya. Shortly after, he reported falsely to the defense minister, claiming the rescue mission failed entirely due to Anya's betrayal, demanding military intervention to eliminate her and the others involved. Soon after, a large contingent of troops surrounded Paradise City, completely sealing it off. Meanwhile, Anya, Emil, and Juliet, recognizing the director's treachery, knew he wouldn't stop pursuing them. With their helicopter destroyed, they decided their only hope was escaping Paradise City on foot. They believed that if Juliet appeared publicly to explain the situation, all problems would vanish instantly. However, watching a news broadcast, they learned they'd already been branded traitors, with elite military forces ordered to execute them. The situation was critical, as Paradise City was sealed, making escape nearly impossible. At this critical moment, Emil suggested contacting Paradise City's designer, hoping to find a hidden escape route. Emil's suggestion wasn't baseless, as Anya's father was Paradise City's chief architect, though Emil was unaware that Anya hadn't contacted her father for years due to a past incident. After much hesitation, Anya finally dialed her father's number. Hearing his daughter's voice after years of silence, the architect warmly greeted Anya, attempting to reconcile their differences. Anya refused to discuss past grievances, urgently asking instead about secret escape routes from Paradise City. Fortunately, such a route existed. With her father's guidance, the group reached a concealed sewer tunnel under the cover of darkness, perfect for escaping unnoticed. Just as they prepared to move forward, Emil suddenly received a message showing that his wife and daughter had been kidnapped and were in danger. Immediately afterward, the corrupt director called Emil, directly offering to free his family if Emil handed over Juliet and Anya. Emil was suddenly faced with a painful choice. Before he could fully process this new threat, yet another crisis arose. Inside the sewer, they unexpectedly encountered heavily armed members of the movement. According to their leader, David, these members intended to fight the military forces outside to the death, a scenario nobody desired. Juliet quickly stepped forward, trying to prevent a tragic outcome. Using his extensive political experience, Juliet saw clearly that David himself didn't truly want such violence. Juliet firmly promised that if he could safely escape Paradise City, the military would immediately withdraw. David considered Juliet's words carefully, eventually ordering 3 of his men to help escort Juliet, Anya, and Emile safely out of the city. Under cover of darkness, the group successfully left Paradise City, reaching the outside world. Just as Anya and Juliet prepared to return to the Special Security Agency, Emile finally made his decision. Unexpectedly, Emile restrained them, deciding to hand them over to the director in exchange for his family's safety. Believing victory was assured, the director released Emile's wife and daughter first, before claiming Juliet and Anya. However, midway through the exchange, Emile suddenly changed sides once more. Due to their previous battles, Emile and Anya had developed a strong, tacit understanding. Anya immediately reacted, joining Emile in swiftly defeating the corrupt director and his men. Unfortunately, Juliet was fatally injured during the chaos, and Emile, seriously wounded, fell unconscious. At that moment, numerous police vehicles arrived at the scene, led by the Minister of Security himself. It turned out he'd always suspected the director's treachery, finally obtaining clear evidence of his wrongdoing. Thanks to the minister's timely intervention, Emile was saved from death. Even his supposedly incurable disease was successfully treated by doctors. Yet Anya's fate turned tragic. Due to Philip's immense political connections, even the Minister of Security couldn't fully punish him. Any misstep risked plunging the country into turmoil. Furthermore, the government decided Paradise City should remain a restricted zone to continue imprisoning criminals. Anya thus became a convenient scapegoat, forced to publicly bear responsibility for the crisis. Arrested and placed into a police car awaiting trial, Anya was watched solemnly by her father, the architect whose troubled expression suggested deep contemplation. The film concludes here.